uniform. I leave the old and needed every hour needed. I need you. I'm going to enjoy you. Come quickly and about all is vain. I'll be and open now my
No problem. Now it's open the voice. Ah.
where it fell. I need
Why kalapano wale ba?
you by
Yes, my mark. And you got my mark, guys. Tapa ni maka. Mala Sharon. My body. My body is aching.
I come to thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to
That is my mark. Eh?
upon him,
Catch up again. Dapat kaya po gabi.
Oh, how it's run in just to try to plunge me neath the thing let me how trying how I oh,
Means right.
yeah, to truth it she just from the outlet to just from she was something taking life and you feel me. How I breathe I learned to train I like it with me.
Wait! It's fine. Magkakapsara na, it's fine. Wala po.
Update pa.
Happy adjusting. Meaning here and here. Like height. Fine. Visited. Fine. Pero tap.
Let's see.
Susan, you're welcome. Chapman, you're welcome. How are you? No, George, I'm not talking. Okay, so we're going to begin in about 5 minutes. Okay, so just give us 5 minutes. We wait others a bit, then begin. So I was not talking, George. Happy Sabbath to you too, Chapman. Coming in.
Trust him in his presence.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to begin. Yeah.
Now, this is your laptop. Good.
Yes, so we're going to begin. We'll begin with a prayer. So, okay. Uh, We will kneel down and pray. God Almighty, we are so blessed yet to see another holy, blessed Sabbath morning. It's through love and kindness that we are here. We count it a blessing. We count it a blessing, oh God, to be in this last period of time of Earth's history where many changes are occurring, things that were written, and we count it a blessing, oh God, that we are amongst the group that can follow and really see prophecy coming to pass in reality. We count it a blessing. So this morning, as we begin to learn, we ask you that you be amidst us. Help us to understand the truth as it is in you. We'll continue praising your name now and forevermore. Amen. Ah, edit. Okay, George, I presume you're on YouTube? Yes, you're on YouTube. So here we've got Susan and Chapman. Yeah, I don't know who else is on YouTube. So anyway, you're welcome to our study, and the title of our study is called The Trinity, Atheism, and the Four Horsemen. We're going to continue where we began from. These are the Vesper series. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick summary. And then from there, then we can dive in, discuss, and learn together. Okay, so we've been learning for quite some time while we shifted from the right to the left. And one of the things that we discovered is, or like a question that we need to ask is, does God really care which political party or the ideology that we familiarize ourselves in or we find ourselves supporting? Does that really matter to God? If that does or does not, oh, okay, yeah, that is George just sending us a message. Yeah, so we need to understand the left. Now, before we can begin to understand the left, we need to understand what is going on with the right wing, okay? So when you go in USA, from the time USA, yeah, we know that like we marked the rise of the lamb-like beast in 1798. One of the characteristics that we notice or that we learn about this beast is that it is what? It has got, it come in, let's say, we can look at it from two different perspectives. It's the king of the north, it is also the glorious land. So now when you go to the kingdom of Bible prophecy, we've got what? Yes. So Oliver, where is Oliver? I presume you sent him the link? Okay. So the kingdom of Bible prophets that we have, we've got Babylon, and Persia, and then we've got Greece, and then Rome. So when you look at all these four kingdoms, they are the king of the north. Now, when you come to the USA, it's what? It's the king of the north, but as well as what? The glorious land. Patricia, you're welcome. That's when we just began. Okay. Yes, I was saying. I was saying, when you look at America, it is the king of the north as well as, just give me a moment. The other people want to join. Okay. So we've got Babylon, from Babylon to Rome. These are the king of the north. And then when you come to America, it is the king of the north as well as the glorious land. And these are not what? These other kingdoms, they are not what? The glorious land. Why is it like that? Anyone who's got an idea how America can be the king of the north at the same time as well as the glorious land? What are our thoughts? Why do we say America is the king of the north? Let me begin from that. We don't have an idea. What makes Babylon the king of the north? Patricia, what do you think? What makes Babylon the king of the north? Let me write something like this. I hope you'll see. Yeah, when the USA was founded, what were the two prominent things that we can say set it apart or made it so unique? What were those two things? We've forgotten. What made America to stand out? Joseph. So the Constitution. So like the separation of the two things. You've heard what Joseph has said there? So he said it's what? Republicanism as well as what? So they separated church and state, the constitution. Okay? So this made out what? America to stand out. Where people it was what? The separation of these two powers, where people now they had that freedom, and you find equality there being what? Implemented and things like that. So this is what made America, the Constitution, what it was founded on. That is what that's what makes America what? The glorious land. Okay? So now, if that's what makes America the glorious land, I wait to hear from you. Then what makes up these other kingdoms to be the king of the north? I wait to hear from you. Yeah, even along the way, you can share your thoughts. Okay? So those on YouTube, if you've got anything that you want to say or share, you can type in Kitwe Study. Yes, I think you can start it, you can type from there. So for us to understand why the USA will be shipwrecked or why it's going to experience a shipwreck, so these studies were presented, that is in 2022, way back. So now, but right now we believe we're in the Sunday law period. The shipwreck has occurred. So now, to understand why America has experienced or will experience in this context, in terms of the study, will experience a shipwreck, we need to go to what? To understand how America was founded. And America was founded on what? On what? What did I just say? Here on the board, that's what I've written. So it was founded on the principle of what? Actually, it is at the end of the day, when you look at them, it's just these two principles, that is equality and freedom. They are intention. They are fighting. So this is what America was founded on. When we talk about the separation of the what? Church and state. There are people, they've got the freedom, and also at the end of the, when they've got that freedom, they implement equality where it is what? Everyone in that country, they can experience the privileges just like any other person without regarding how somebody's status, race, and all these other things. Those they needed to be blinded to. Somebody wants to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Kaisa.
I want to try to answer the question you posed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a try. I'm not very sure.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think Babylon being the counterfeit king of the north. Since we learned that God is the true king of the north. So the scepter that was to Judah, after Judah forfeit his trust, it passed to Kingdom 4. Yeah. So this is the reason I'm saying maybe these kingdoms can be the king of the north, because Satan has been fighting to be like God, to side on the side of the north. So this kingdom been helping that government of Satan, I think can be the reason to be called kings of north.
Okay. I got some of the things. So you're just going to help me if what I've got is what I'll explain, then you're going to agree if that is what you mean. So you're saying, in other words, the king of the north, these kingdoms as king of the north, what makes them, because they're a counterfeit to, you talked about God being the true king of the north. And then at the end of the day, actually, what we see, in other words, the king of the north being the counterfeit, it's fighting against the kingdom of God, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's okay. George has written something for us here. I'm going to read it. Ancient Babylon was the king of north by geographical location. My thoughts, okay? So George has brought in, like when we look at Babylon, it was the king of the north because of it was located in the north. Eh? Oh, I mean, mine. It's, I can't see anymore. I've already every time in now. Hey. Russell is he's saying he thinks that it was in the east. Me, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Which was the location? Was it east? Okay, so it seems like uh Joy is accepting that it was what? It was the east. I don't know now. Okay, yes. Okay.
But you only conquer the kingdom there. The person was Seleucus conquered the Hama territory, yeah, the north. No. Then the name Kai Babylon, yeah, some king of the north.
Okay, so here Joseph is saying that actually Babylon was on the east side. Due to the conquest that it made, it became when it conquered that is under Seleucus, when it conquered this kingdom in the north, that's when it became the king of the north. Okay. Okay, I'll just leave it out there. Okay, thank you for your thoughts. So we've got that. So we know. Now then, what will make America to be the king of the north? Okay, that will be a topic for another day. Okay. So over some time when we've been discussing, there's this phrase that from the time we started learning about, I'm sure the ethos, the equality versus the two ethos of the left and the right wing, equality versus freedom. There is this phrase that we've used, that we learned for some time, and that phrase goes like, I will disagree with what you say, but I will defend it to the, wait, let me read, I beg your pardon. Okay, so yes, I would disagree with what you say, but I would defend you to say it. I would defend, how do you say that one? How do you say? But you know what I'm talking about it. So you disagree with some that what I will say, but you defend them to the death for them to say it, even if you don't agree with that. Because at the end of the day, you're just protecting what? Their freedom for them to say it, okay? So there is this narrative that has been displayed. Why is America in this maze that is it is in it today? Like, why is it like that? And it's because of what? It has been imbibing on this narrative that, one of the narrative that we can talk about. the Hollywood narrative that they portray, where there is this bad entity, like maybe it's either aliens. If it's not aliens, you've got these, maybe a deep state, this power in short, that wants to take away your what? Your freedom. And then you're going to have this hero who is going to come and defend and protect your what? Your freedom. So you have this bad, so it's a bad thing, something like bad. All right, here. Huh? Okay, yes, all right. Something like there's this bad entity. It wants to take away what? It will take away, actually, takes your freedom away. And then you're going to have this one here. A hero. Who is going to do what? Defend or fight for freedom. One movie that comes to mind is like Independence Day. I don't know. I'll just share this. In Independence Day, you've got the aliens come and then they hold people on Earth captive. And then there are these heroes. This hero, they go, they infiltrate the enemy ship, they blow it, and then at the end of the day, people on Earth are free. So that is the narrative. And then another perspective that they share in Hollywood is where you've got this American hero going to fight for what? World freedom. Maybe let's say, yeah, they will go maybe this American soldier, they go maybe under UN or anywhere they go, maybe it's Russia, people are captive there, and then they go, they punch their way out, and then people are free. So that narrative is what is being shared, and people have got these ideas. So this, at the end of the day, it has whooped or it has affected the way Americans see the world, how they see, there is this actually, how they view freedom and equality. There is this bad entity that will come and take away your freedom. So you have to do what? Fight. And I remember way back when we were talking about, even that is the world view of how the SDAs, they also view what? When it comes to freedom and equality, that's how they see it. The purpose, this bad entity or this government, these Sandelos, they enacted to do what? Come and take away your freedom. I remember we learned about such things. Okay, so that is the narrative. Then another phrase that we're going to look at is people will not remember what you said. They will remember how you made them feel. So people won't remember, you won't remember what I've spoken about or when I talk to you, but you remember how I make you feel. Why is it like that? Why is it like that? There is a question here. There's this phrase that we're looking at. You will remember how I made you feel, but not what I said. Why? Okay, I'll take it a bit further. So when you go to time period of Christ, you've got these Jews. Christ spoke a lot about so many things, but they didn't remember or they couldn't remember what he spoke about, but they remembered how we made them feel. Yes, thank you for that. And then again, you go in the time period of Ellen White. Ellen White is going to write so many books, so many things on different topics. But many people, we are in that time period, we're in our time period. But many people don't remember don't remember anything that she's talking about, but how she's making them feel. Why is it like that? Oops. Missed just that. I'll be sure with you. So it's something like this. Facts. No, it's not like this, it's basically this. Okay. Let me not write that. This one has proved to be what? Power. Have you seen what I've written? Words. Okay. So at the end of the day, why is it that these are phrases that when we talk about the I'll defend to the death what I will disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend it to the death for you to say it. And this other phrase what we talk about, people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So these are phrases that people in the world today, they seem very beautiful. When you look at them or when you hear them for the first time, they feel very good. And people, when they use them very much, they display them there all over media. When you just have got this disagreement with them or anything, then they'll just post them just like that. So, but at the end of the day, when you look at these phrases, they're very toxic. In the sense, like, let's talk about the last one that we're looking at. This is about emotions, how you feel. I was watching a study by Kathleen. It's a very nice one. It's heads and tails. Yes, heads and tails. So she spoke about many things, and one of the things that I found so interesting was about she was talking about what is moral and what is profession, and many other things. So one of the things that came out when you talk about morals, like moral, people think that these are feelings and things like feelings, and then each and every person, let's say me and Sharon, how we view moral, it'll be different. It's how she feels and how I feel, it's not the same. But how it should be, you've got the correct weights, you've got this one rule book, not me and Sharon has her own rule book, I've got my own rule book, but one rule book, which are facts, which are not dealing with what? Feelings. So, but many people, when we talk about why is it so people will remember how you made them feel, not what you said, it's because they've got this study of Catherine, I like it very much. It sheds more light on that. So if you've got anything to say on that, or if you don't understand, you can ask later on. So, but from 2018, the target has been what? Learning about the right wing. So the parable is teaching us actually the two important ethos, so that is equality and freedom. And then when you go into the Bible, you go to 8 and you are given this, you are open to this story about Adam and Eve. They were given an opportunity. There is a kingdom of God that is existing. Then it's about actually that kingdom of God which is in existence. It's about equality. You think about others, yeah, in as much as freedom is important for them, but when they come into conflict, the one that has to be upheld is what? Equality. So, but Satan comes into the picture and offers Eve an alternative government. And what is this government based on? Freedom. It's now what is happening. Eve has been put in a position where she has to think about how it's not about, it's not more of what God or Christ or the angels, they've been warning them about this failure and many things that they were taught, but it's about how what was spoken made her feel and what this alternative solution or alternative government that Satan is offering her is making her feel. Same with Adam. Okay. Just give me a moment. Okay. So, I'm sure we remember that when we began to learn, we learned so much about the Protestant. Remember, we learned about the Great Divide and many of those things. So what happened in the movement when we began to learn, when the errors or the badness that are found within Protestantism and all those that we can talk about that we learned about, people in the movement began to come up with this idea that actually Christianity or Protestant, they are bad. All we just need to do is renounce them or criticize them. So we had this strong idea that actually all these studies, what they're meant or they're making us to learn is that we're here to criticize and renounce what? Christianity, the Protestant, they are a problem. Our solution or where we need to embrace, where our solution is or who we need to embrace is what? The secular world. Because their whole thing is what? They are not a problem. But actually, so when we were learning, or remember that line, let me try and draw it. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I'll try to be accurate as possible. Let me get something. What am I in the video? I think we might have seen it. Actually, I just need assistance. I'm sure I remember this one. I'll be done very soon. So I've got the Protestant, and then you put atheist here. Yes, atheist. And then you do, but like when we think about democracy, to remember that is all about what? Men's rights. Yeah, so I'll just end it here. I won't write everything. Okay, so I'm sure you can see something, although. So at the end of the day, this line was showing us, yes, we've got Protestants. Yeah, they've got a problem. But when we began to learn about atheism, men's right, the Trinity, in short, the Batarian, we discovered that actually the problem is not what? It's not just Christianity, it is the whole thing actually. If you remember that. Yes, Christianity is not a problem. It is, but it's just a little portion. It's not a major player in this one, okay? So when you go to the right, there is this big, there is this huge problem. There are these people like here, like Christy. When you go, let me try and put the wording right or correctly. So when you go to the right, it's not just Protestants you are going to find. Actually, the greater percentage, it's the other who have got nothing to do with religion. Libertarianism, the atheist, men's right, these are your problem. So what began to happen is that, just a moment. So our problem, people that we need to take note of, very much they are, but most of them that we need to take note of, it's this. So let me just put it. It's this. So these are like we talk about the Trinity. These people, they're not in the same camp. They are different and everything, but when you look at them critically, you find that actually they've got so many things in common than you can even imagine. So this is where right now in 2022, when you look at this is what is happening and this is what we're dealing with. So we are post the Christian era where the Christians were a problem, where they were trying to enact these Sunday laws. They go into the government, trying to gain power so that they enforce or try to use the government as the channel where they can implement or try to spread their ideas. We are post that. Yes, they are there, but mostly people who are a problem and who are doing most of the damage this time around, it's these. Do people have anything to say? What we've reached? So, new atheism. So, in the 19th century or the 1900, when you are called an atheist, it was something that if you're an atheist, you don't have anything to do with religion. It was like simple as that. And then now when you come in the 21st century, when you are an atheist, it has to do with you not tolerating what? Religion. You don't have anything. So what does it mean not to tolerate? And so what is the difference between not tolerating and not to have anything to do with that? What is that difference? How do we see that? When I say I don't have anything to do with this issue, or I can't relate that, what does that mean? So, but I need you to share your thoughts. I don't have anything to do with this, or I don't want anything to do with this, or what does that mean? And what does it mean when you say, I can't relate this? Okay, our point. Patricia. Okay, let's start with Kais and Susan, then Patricia. What are your thoughts? And then we'll come here as well. Even those on YouTube, yeah, I know there is Russell there. There is also George. You can share your thought. What does it mean?
Regina, repeat
Yes.
your question. Can you repeat your question?
Okay, the question is, I was saying, atheists, way back in the olden days, they would say, if you're an atheist, you don't have anything to do with religion. And then there's a phone vibrating. And then these recent or in the 21st century, the atheists, it's all about not tolerating religion. So what's the difference between tolerating and not having something to do with religion? What is that difference? What does that mean? How would it look like? Yes, that is the question, Susan. Okay, as Susan is contemplating on that. Yes, Chapman, Patricia, Sharon, what do you think? I'll wait for your answer. So let's just move a bit. So, so there is atheism all throughout, yeah, Unuma or in history, we can track their footprints of atheism. Then, starting 2006, something people in the world and actually in the atheist community, they discover something, that there is a change. There is this phenomena that is happening. There is this new, there are changes in that community. So the term new atheism began to be used in 2006. And why is that? That happens, Gertrude, you're welcome. Yeah, our topic of study today is the Trinity, atheism, and the four horsemen. So I was talking about 2006. They begin to use, or the term new atheism is coined, or is made up, or whichever way you may try to use it. So why is it that this come up? Why new atheism? Why? New atheism actually is a direct response to what? 9/11. So September 11, the Twin Tower fall, that attack on the USA. Then there's this man. Let me check his first name. Yeah, Sam Harris. So what happens? Sam Harris, when that happens, that is on the 11th, and then on 12th, he begins to write his book. And this book is called The End of Faith, Religion, Terror, and the Future of Reason. Okay, so Sam Harris is blaming September 11 on religion. He's saying all these bad things that have occurred in the world that you can think about, any of them, you can trace its roots where? To religion. These are Muslims that have what? Launched an attack on the USA soil. And that is because of what? Religion. He goes on to talk about the badness of religion and everything. So this book is talking about, he attacks religion. So the end of faith, religion, terror, and the future of reason. So people need to begin to what? To think, to reason. Okay? So when the atheists, they look at what? I'd written something like facts, truth, facts, feelings. So when the atheists are looking at religion, they feel or they see religion as something that is irrational. It's all about emotions, feelings. People don't think. And that is because of that type of mindset that this attack was what? Was brought on the US soil. So in this, so coming beginning of after September 11th, people in the world need to what? To change their mindset. So Sam Harris, he begins to attack religion, and they want to gain political power to do what? To put an end to that, this ideology, religion that it's bringing about in short, the negativity of religion that it's bringing. So when you talk about new atheism, it's more of an activist. Yeah, you know what? When talk about that is an activist group and things like that, you know that. And then, but we learned about activism. Okay, explain what is activism. Okay, so I was cautioned or I was advised that I shouldn't be assuming that some of the things like when I talked about activism, what does that mean? And so what these are groups that they when something you want to, like an activist group, you just want to they are formed in short to try and put across your what? You share your thoughts and you want to stand up for those so that they can be recognized. Okay? So there's this thing that is lacking in society, and you notice that it's important. And how are you going to do that? So that how are people going to take this idea or things that you think are important in the society that they can notice it? So you do something about that. You try to be more vocal. You do whichever means you take whichever means to ensure that those ideas, you use different platforms. Is it matching, having podcast, and then many other things, so that people, in short, you create awareness in the society. When you create awareness so that people can take those ideas of yours and implement, you want to implement the change. Yeah, I think that is what I can talk about. So fighting religious. Okay, I think I should be winding up. Yeah, so what? I'm going to end somewhere. Oh, okay, so I was advised that it's 12 hours. Okay, so we'll end, we'll still got so much time. So they are fighting, they're trying to fight what? Religion influence on the government. They don't believe in what actually church and state. Even if you remember way back when we were learning about the libertarians, we talked about they don't believe in what? Church and state as well, okay? So these are their aim. They want to uphold, in short, that separation of church and state. They want to remove that influence that religion has on government. And then apart from that, Just a moment. Yes, and they want to bring in where people begin to reason rationally, not using emotions and things like that. That is what they want to do. So in 2006, there were these 4 men. They are called the leading or prominent leaders of New Atheism. They meet to discuss, and this is recorded. So let me draw something here. So you've got 9/11. Because of 9/11, what happens in 2004? There's a book that is released by Sam Harris. And this book is called what? End of Faith. This book is written in direct response to what? To 9/11. So what happened here? Harris blames this attack due to faith or religion. So he's attacking that. He wants that to come to an end. People need to begin to do what? To reason. So in 2006, so the term New Atheism is what? Is coined. And then in the very 2006, Richard Dawkins wrote a book called The God of Delusion. Delusion. What's a delusion? What's a delusion? At what? So Joseph So let me just finish up this line so that we just discuss. So 2007. So, okay, we'll write their names, we'll continue writing them. So, I'm sure that is very visible, written very well. Yes. So in 2004, yeah, we spoke about what 9/11 response. Immediately when he was interviewed, Sam Harris, he said, immediately that occurred on the 12th, he begins to write his book, The End of Faith. So this new atheism is a result of what? Of 2001. 2006, the term is coined. So when he's interviewed, Sam Harris, he was interviewed, actually, you are saying all these bad things that are happening, it's what? It's due to religion. Then they cite example like the Cold War. They talk about Russia. They talk about North Korea. These are what? These are not what? They are not religious countries, or they're not a theocracy. But why is this bad thing happening? Those things they've happened, and they've got nothing to do with religion. But you're saying all these bad things that are happening is because of religion. Yeah, he's adamant, despite all that is being shown, he's adamant, he still blame what? Everything on religion. So the four horsemen, they meet in 2007. Yeah, there was a woman who was supposed to be there, but unfortunately, yeah, there were last minute cancellation. So they meet there. This is where the term four horsemen, there were four, and they get that the four horsemen from Revelation. Yeah. Have people got anything to say while we've reached? So let me just write their names this way. So like there's Richard, of course. Yeah, but they're saying there's Richard, there's Sam. I'll just use their first names. Sam, then there's Christopher. Christopher, and then there's Daniel. So I'll just use their first names. Yeah, so these men, they meet. Yeah, so all that we can talk about, their beliefs and many other things, we can approach. So these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, Richard, Sam, Christopher, and Daniel, they are the leading leaders or prominent men of this new atheism. So now, what the angle what we want to approach them on is what? On gender. We want to see, fine, they say they are people that use their mind. They don't want irrational thinking, not irrational thinking. They don't believe in emotions, being irrational. They believe in using what? The mind to reason. So fine, since these men, they've got that brain, as they say, they reason so much and things like that. So want to see them on their views on what? On gender. So in one of the interviews that is Sam Harris, he was interviewed, he was asked, why is it that in atheism or new atheism, why is it that there are many men and women, then very few? Why is it like that? Then the reason that he gave, he said that actually the way atheism is structured, it requires people who do what? Who reason, not like who are emotion and things like that. Let me try and just quote that I read. Let me just find that. Just a moment. I just want to find. I'll try and find it. Okay, yes, I found it. So let me, yeah. In 2014, Sam Harris was interviewed by Michelle of the Washington Post. She asked him, why are most atheists men? And Sam Harris answered, he said, I think it may have to do with my personal slant as an author, being very critical of bad ideas. He speaks in, I speak in philosophy. Okay. So what Elder Tays here is going to do, this person when he's asked, okay, let me just jump here. He says he's an author and he's, no, I want to find something there. Okay, fine. Just find time. So when he was asked why there are so many, why atheism has got men and compared to women, he said actually it's because men, they reason a lot. It is structured in a way where it requires people for that reason a lot. And women, by biology and things like that, remember evolution, atheism, they believe so much in evolution and things like that. So he says actually, atheism requires people who've got that brain to reason and think, not use their emotion. And women, by nature, they've got a lot of what? Estrogen, that those emotions and things like that. That is the reason you find many men unlike women. So women, they don't think very much. They use emotions and things like that. So about okay, so Sharon is asking that is it true that women don't think they are emotional beings unlike men, too much estrogen, not testosterone? Is that true? So that is the question to the group. What are your thoughts? Yeah. So just let me something. Yeah, somebody was told to summarize what Harrison was Harris was talking about in short. So actually he was, in other words, was just saying men are really good or at thinking rationally, critically, and are not the nurturing type. Therefore, because of that, atheism tends to require an objective, critical mind. It appeals to, like I was saying. So is that true? Are women emotional? They can't think objectively. What are our thoughts? You want me to be pointing at you? What are our thoughts? See, I've spoken a long time. I want to hear your thoughts as well. I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. I'm sure you'll come in later. So actually, he goes on. So what they're just trying to say is that women, they've got this, but that is not true, actually. It's not true. But then they claim that women, they've got this aspect of nurturing. It is just the same. In short, the thing that you find in religion is the thing that you find in women, and that is a problem. So there is what it means to be male, and what it means to be female. So with those differences, actually, yeah, atheism is not appealing to women because women, they don't have that brain to think rational, but irrational. So the lady that is in question, that Ali, yeah, she was the person who was supposed to be in this meeting of 2007, which was not there. So this lady escaped from Somalia. Yeah, when she went, I've forgotten the country she went to, but yeah, there was somewhere there. When she went there, she was escaping this arranged marriage. So she criticized so much the like the Muslim culture, and then she in short, she's a feminist. She wants to bring this. She wants to combine atheism and feminism, but that has proven to be a problem. It's not. It has not worked out nicely. So let me gift. You are welcome. Yes, we are looking at the Trinity, atheism, and the four horsemen. So yeah, we've spoken a lot. So we'll just continue. While you're behind, you just go back. You find this video, then go back, then you catch up. So in atheism, there are women. Yeah, so like what Harrison spoke about, they criticized that they didn't like that when he talked about women are naturally born like that. They can't think they can't think rationally. So now he was attacked, and then now when he's attacked, he responds, and then he posts a very long blog. He just keeps saying that actually, let me just read something here. In that book, it's titled, "I'm Not the Pig You're Looking For." So let me read something here. His strategy for disapproving accusation of sexism was to engage in a more sexist declaration in a time-honored bigot strategy of saying it's not bigotry if it's true. So if you are stating facts, it's not like if you attack somebody, for example, if you say, in short, you're calling a spade a spade. If you call a spade a spade, if you call a spade, you're not being sexist. So that's what he's saying. So they attacked him, and then what does he go to do? He goes on to be more sexist to defend his position. And he says this is where the idea of, well, like this time I'm calling a spade a spade. If you call a spade, you're not being sexist, you're just calling it by its name. If you are being homophobic or sexist, it's just an observation that you're making. It's not like it's you doing it. And there is nothing bad in doing that. Now, people can say something. What are your thoughts from where we began to learn from to where we are? What have you got, especially on the new atheism and the four horsemen? What have we got from there? I want to hear from you. I want to see if we're together. We're not responding.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes. You can go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you can go ahead, Patricia.
Okay, so it's just a question on rational and the irrational chanchan, like how women think and like that. The truth is, we all know that women, they're normal human beings. They're 100% human beings. Again, I was just thinking and wondering, when we talk of women, there are a lot of things that goes on in their lives. And one of such is childbirth. Now, my question is, the traumas that women go through, even just periods and stuff like that, those are real things. And it deals with the brain. Does it have an impact on women? Or maybe, I don't know, I was just wondering, like the trauma of women processing pregnancy and not just pregnancy, but even just the period pains in general, does it have any impact on how they behave and how they conduct themselves?
Okay. I'm sure we've heard Patricia's question. So I'll paraphrase. If what I'm saying is correct, you're going to agree with me, Patricia. So what I've heard Patricia is asking is that he's asking on the irrational and rational thinking. Yeah, which we are learning, or which these atheists are accusing women of. So he's saying, don't you think like the things that women go through, childbearing itself, the period pains and all these other things that you can talk about, the bad things, not really bad things, these traumatizing experiences that women go through, don't you think it has got an impact on their irrational, their rational thinking? Is that correct? That is the question. Yeah, Patricia, is that it?
Yeah, something like that. My question is, I'm asking,
Yes.
what's this?
There was
The
a
people
break
that
in the line. You
are
can.
worshiping, the traumas that we. Now, I was saying it's just about the traumas that women go through. We all know that these traumas are real and they are everyday. Women, it's either maybe you are dealing with, other women are dealing with childbirth, and those who are not into childbirth, they are dealing with period pains. And just periods in general, which has got an impact on their mindsets, like the brain. It all deals with the brain. Now, my question is, can this, or does the traumas that women go through in terms of just the part where they're just women, you have to deal with certain things because you are a woman. Does it impact, or can it affect how they think and how they just
Okay.
conduct themselves?
Okay. Yes, what we've heard Patricia's question. What are our thoughts? What are our thoughts? Yes, let's discuss. What are our thoughts? What do we think? What are our thoughts? So, Susan, we've got Gertrude, we've got Chapman, we've got Sharon and Josephine, we've got George and Russell. What are our thoughts to Patricia's question? Mleo mpo hapo Shan. Today's class is so quiet. It's a very important question, and you're just quiet, just like that. That question wasn't addressed to me, it was addressed to everyone. Now, why is everyone quiet? Yes, Amena, Susan, and Kaisa.
Awa ina chirawe kachwa napokuwa sikana chakana pingi awo tefingalinga sio mpesia kulunda pwesingi shisho folinga filondra but tefingalinga sio yansaninga landai.
Okay. We've read Susan's point of view. What about the rest of us? Susan is saying, no, that can't be the cause. Saying no, actually. And by the way, before we get through it, go ahead.
I'm not answering the question, but I'm just a little behind. Like, is it true that women are irrational?
Yes,
And
that is the
men are
first point.
logical? Yeah.
So there is a question on top of a question. So before we can even attempt, I had asked this question. Are women irrational thinkers? Are they? What does it mean? Can somebody Google for us what irrational means, irrational thinking? I'm trying to search what it means. Okay, I'm trying to. So irrational thinking and planning. It's loading. So
Rational thinking is using evidence, facts, sound arguments to form a plan and decision.
okay.
Critical thinking, response-based decision making, clear and coherent thoughts, open-mindedness. Open-mindedness, considering multiple perspectives, adapting to information and revising the information. Critical thinking, analyzing information objectively, evaluating argument and approaching passing. Evidence-based decision making, relying on empirical data research and expert opinion to inform choices. Clear and coherent thoughts, avoiding contradiction, fallacies, and emotionalism. Open-mindedness, consider.
So what is after everything that you've read, what can you give us, paraphrase to us?
So rational thinking.
It's at least tell Joe to come nearby. We're not getting anything.
Yes, Joe, speak up or come nearby.
Rational thinking, because I want to understand rational before you go to irrational. Rational thinking, the points which defines that is one, logical reasoning.
Yeah, you're getting him now.
Logical reasoning that is using evidence and
in the background.
yeah. Logical reasoning, that is using facts and sound judgment to inform opinion or make decisions. 2, critical thinking, analyzing information objectively, evaluating arguments and avoiding biases. Then point 3, open-mindedness. That is considering multiple perspectives, adapting to new information and revising beliefs accordingly. So that is rational reasoning. Then irrational is the opposite of this. Yeah. Yeah, so irrational is the opposite of this, meaning without your reasoning is not based on facts or considering multiple facts or research or data. You just give, maybe because of your biases or without taking the facts, you just assume things if you feel. So that's what I can say.
Okay. You heard that. So, like, in short, the shortest version, what Joe has spoken about, there are very good points that is brought up. So, in short, when you talk about rational thinking, you're using logic. Logic, what is logic? What is logic? Reason and fact. So you are using what? You're using logic, reason, and fact to draw up what? Conclusion, rather than relying on what? Emotions, biases, or whims. So number, what is logic? What is to reason? In fact, so those are the things that would drive a person who is thinking rational.
Irrational is making decisions or forming opinions based on emotions, personal biases, or incomplete information rather than evidence and logical reasoning. Or allowing feelings to override logic and evidence in decision making.
I think we've heard. So yes, and yeah, I like it. I think I found where Joe was reading, where it talks about when you talk about logic and reason, you are using reasons and principles to determine if an argument or a thought makes sense. So somebody who is thinking using reason or logic, you have rules that you are following. So you're not using what? There is evidence, you're not using emotions. So in short, when we talk about irrational, women are irrational. They use their feelings, their biases and things like that. If you're there on fire. Remember, I think what we began from, what we talk about when I spoke about people will remember how you made them feel, not what you spoke about. So that is another way. This is a scenario. That phrase, it is describing what? Irrational thinking. While you're using your feelings, your biases to judge somebody's opinions or somebody's sharing with you. So now, so Gertrude's question was, are women really irrational thinkers?
Teta,
Yes, Gertrude.
yeah, for me, according to the definition of rational thinking and irrational,
where we see that men are logical, rational in decision making, like, or objective. Like, I think for me, it's no, women are not irrational. It's just a sexist saying. For me, women are not irrational. For now, for a definition, no.
Okay. So actually, answering Gertrude's question, it's answering Patricia's question. But there was a component of Patricia. So in short, we're saying women are not irrational. They try to accuse women being irrational because of biology, they are nurturing this and things like that. But that is not true. So the question of Patricia was dealing with, don't you think the traumas that women go through in their life, childbearing, yeah, she cited some example like period pains, yeah, just a few, I think I remember those. Don't you think it can somehow impact that? So now what are your thoughts, Patricia, with what has been shared so far? Yes, Joseph.
Yeah, and I just want to add on what Patricia's on Patricia's question, maybe for consideration before we move further. Last time we were learning about the differences, and we admitted that there are some differences which we can't run away from. And if we say there's no differences, then that's when we see the equality. Then we are mistaken. Now, in this case of Patricia's question, why not considering that there must be a difference, maybe emotionally, like they are saying, putting it in that question, considering on how they have been maybe impacted by the things they pass through, maybe periods in the labor, childbearing, and the like. Why not considering that? Even at menopause, I remember we learned about menopause and how women, they are affected and impacted by menopause. And because of ignorance about that, we tend to see them as maybe they are just because they are women, you see these women, but they are being impacted by menopause. So why not trying to consider the differences in line with the question of Patricia?
Susan, so Susan wants to say something. You can go ahead.
I think if we follow that, we are going to fall into a trap or a problem, because the argument of the four horsemen is biology, which goes to nature, that is by nature. And if we admit, then we are going to support the Muktara. It is true, by nature, women are irrational, which is not all women are impacted to that, because when we say rational thinking, a person can be rational whilst going through menopause, periods, even child labor. Yeah, they can use their mind to think critically and understand everything correctly whilst going through that. Yeah, but others can fall. That does not mean all women are just like that by nature. Yeah, so it depends. But what I can say, women are not irrational by birth, no, or by nature.
Hello, teacher.
Yes, Patricia.
So if you got me from the starting of me asking the question, I
Yes.
said the myth that women don't think properly, or maybe the saying that women don't think properly, it's there, but it's not true. And then I wanted to take us back into our daily lives, like the normal way of how things are done in societies. And then when we just, if we can just answer it to say, no, it's not like that, then we'll miss something. I don't know if it's just me or maybe the thing, teacher, is you know what happens when somebody's having periods. You can bear with me. The hormonal imbalance in your body, everything is disturbed. Even the brain, that it can still working. Periods, it doesn't work. And people, okay, allow me to say this. The truth is, hormonal imbalances somebody who is in labor doesn't think critically. Ngolonga kuti atontonkanya pabali 10 ni umofyo utontonkanya venzi. We are not saying tafitike. Now my question was, yadama trauma, they are mental. It deals with the mental. Going through child labor, it's mental. Your mental will be disturbed, and women don't even forget these things. Now, 7, now 8, they don't forget these things. And then I also say, I talked about, it's not just about our it's also about just period, because period for pains. It ain't for the fact that there is blood which is flowing. Although if it's not working, it disturbs you a lot. So now I was just thinking to say, don't you think these things that happens, because it deals with the brain, the mindset, and how somebody's disturbed and how somebody's okay. Does it have any impact on women? The woman up on a punch. Susan can bear with me. Woman up on a punch in Gavarina Kaisa. Susan, who even feel like Kurifia Kakuka moving, and then the reaction of Susan Kaisa automatically, and that is definitely, it's going to be different. So does it have any impact? Or you are saying it doesn't impact women on how they think and how they reason, how they do things. And when we say women, we don't mean all of them. Because even men, it's not everyone who thinks properly. I just wanted to hear, and how maybe I can be helped. We can be thinking, it's mental. As you are responding to say they are rational and stuff like that, consider to say even the processes that women go through, it deals with the mental, because everything is the brain. At least if I'm just lost or something like that, help me, people.
Okay. So,
Hello, Rego.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
what we mean is they are not inbuilt, they are circumstantial. Even as men, there are times when things go worse than normal to our manhood, and we began to be emotional, but that
okay, just
does
a
not
moment, guys. You are continuing. Okay, so natwish batwala bompya kufye 7 minutes. Ngafika pa 57. You can continue. Walash kana continue. Continue.
Yeah, nakiranda okweba ati n'abaume nabo barapitako muri fimo ifi barenga baba emotional ikyakuba ati tabali na logic teba nakashife beka awe. So icho turirandapo kyakuba ati tafya aba inbuilt okutira fyefyo twafyari wafyefyo fine, because nga twanda ati what women go through etc. Ninshitwaranda okutira nga efyo bafyari wafye efyo kyaba ninshiraba mu 4 horsemen ifi baranda okutira ni nature ekyarenga babe irrational nishfyara aba true, but tulanda okutira it's a circumstance. Then twalisambirapo okutira na nurturing ifyo batukushafye na fiena filalenga omuntu abefyo nefyo omuntu alepitamo ifyo finga kijanga chakweba ati kwaba okuchinja okubomba kwa ifyo maybe omuntu bali muchusha panganda whether mwaume bali muchusha mukasanga tulo mwana taka kule bwino nefintu ifingi fikalubana mukatika mwewo wakwe takenshepo endeke limbita kenshepo na basi ma accident but mwaume tachabi ati yo pantu mwaume ala ababwino elio ala controle efintu na yena ala aba dramatically elio ala aba disturbed fyonse fyokuti fyachitikazwe wasi kumwana kashi nombanga twalanda ififi yabwana kashi ukutira efirenga ninshi twala chita dimiti ukutira kanshi echo babere fibana mayo ni nature but mfe twasambirira because of where the corner into where we have thrown them for 60,000 years echalenga abo nomba after batampa okusambirira pama pattern bamonoko bati tababa competent kufika pabaume. I think it's nature, it's biology. So it's those arguments tulekana. Then again twachileta pabana kashibeka beka malasa ngati yuna mayo alepita muri chimo chino yuna mayo alepita muri chimo same process but their reasoning na my emotions how they take them yalepusana again chala miyo kweba ati kanshi techin belt kutira fintu mwine ale tashani what word can I use how you organize yourself to issues affecting your personality
Teacher, can I add it on Kaisa?
Okay. Tualan.
I just concur with Kaisa. Yeah, with Patricia, I think the main point is it inborn? Women are irrational. We are not refuting what you are saying at that traumatized, whatever. Yeah, it's true. But the question still remains now, Bushe, is it just the way we are created by God? Kashi today rational, whatever, the answer will still remains no. But those things of our mention of yeah, it affects and like it depends na abantu for react. Yeah, because I've been into labor for 4 times. When you go in that labor room, you find some women standing, shouting, whatever. But some, they are just quiet because so people react differently. Yeah, so it's not inborn. Yeah, it's not inborn. Point is it nature? No, me still stands with Kaisa. No, women are not irrational. And what you said is true. Trauma, whatever, upbringing, like Kaisa said. If you know, if she imbalance like abana, yeah, but it's not inborn, it's not nature. If again, it's nature, it's inborn. If God was not fair, like we used to then party period poverty. Pama periods abana kashiba alikowera shani so na para penene alikwete question it's God what create abana kashi abakowera from the word go, it's nature so ninshire sataba bwini so after twasambira pama periods it's no more tababa nani shani you know, just like that mwana achirashi mwena abana kashi barapitamo muri ife we all know and we react differently bamungana bakwata amafumu barafu afe no kuyamukurira pa toilet. Some will not. Bambi barafua no kudio fota badia. Some will not. So me, I just concur with Kaisa. I don't know for the under part but the question is it the inborn? I will still remain to say no, women are not irrational from the inborn. They are irrational from.
Okay. So Joe will say something brief as we are closing.
Yeah, I think we have learned
a lot about how the brains of a female and a male has been created. That there is no pink brain and there is no blue brain. Yeah, so the brain is just the same when we are learning about the inner person. So if we make a difference on the reasoning that these are irrational by creation, so we go to creation, even those differences we are looking at, were we looking those differences after the fall?
That's before.
It was before the fall. That's when we discovered, even Ellen says she was a little lower than what? In
Shorter.
terms of height. Yeah. Yeah. So if we take it on that perspective, we understand that they are not irrational. But when you come after the fall and all these things like the pain they are going through and what, you can see that those are factors, external factors, which can contribute to their behavior. And like somebody said, it's not every woman. Just like it's, the thing they have assumed is an assumption to say women are irrational, men are rational. It's just an assumption. Are men rational?
Yeah.
No. So we can't agree with that. Maybe we say they are irrational. If we go by creation, how God created these two brains, they were perfect and they were correct.
Okay, so twala rekera papene twala konkanya po. So nainefyo na tafo kulanda, I'll just swallow them. I'll speak late. So twala isalamwipe po. We are praying. We thank you, God Almighty, for being with us during the study. As we are going to go into another session, we ask you to be with us. Help us to understand. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Don't answer.
I'm answered. Just leave it.
Thank you very much for your attendance. We are joining Zoom. Paminda is teaching. So we want to join them at 12 hours. Then as we are going to come back at 14:30. Yeah, so that we end by 16. Then after that, 16:30, we'll join Paminda again. Yeah, so this is how we are going to do to keep the studies for today. We are not disturbing our program like you have seen. We still have time for us to finish our lesson. Yeah, just that we want to join the other meeting. Ishibenga na Mungu. So just switch, you log out this link here, so then you log in muri link yo iri mu Zambia Prophecy. Is it Slovakia? Yeah. Na muimona link yaini? Patricia, Chapman, Susan, Gertrude. Ufomo aikala tondoro if.
Teacher will check.
Tell me
You
what,
said
then
you
log up. Yeah?
will come back at 14:30.
Yes. Kitwe, we come at 14:30, you log in. Yeah, then by 16 hours we'll finish. Then 16:30 we'll join again. So apa you logging right now. Iyo iri mukitwe o Zambia o mukitwe mposte. Eden to Eden. Thank you.